छंद भक्तरंद आरती तोमा गायचे छंद भक्तरंद आरती तोमा जय जय आरती तोमा हर हर आरती तोमा शिव शिव आरती तोमा गुरु महाराज की जय। वचनो गुणजे गुणेन्द्यः नक्तं देवं सकरुणं तव पाद पद्मं मोहङ्कषं बहुकृतं न भजे यतोऽहं तस्मात् त्वमेव शरणं मम दीन बन्धो भक्तिर्भगश्च भजनं भवभेदकारी गच्छन्त्यलं सुविपुलं गमनाय तत्त्वं वक्त्रोद्धृतोऽपि हृदये न मे भाति किञ्चित् तस्मात् त्वमेव शरणं मम दीन बन्धो तेजस्तरन्ति तरसा त्वयि तृष्णाः रागे कृते ऋतपथे त्वयि राम कृष्णे मर्त्यामृतं तव पदं मरणोर्मि नाशं तस्मात् त्वमेव शरणं मम दीन बन्धो कृत्यं करोति कलुषं कुहकान्तकारी स्नान्तं शिवं सुविमलं तव नाम नाथ यस्मादहं त्वशरणो जगदेकगम्या तस्मात् त्वमेव शरणं मम दीन बन्धो ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतार वरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। ॐ नमः श्री भगवते रामकृष्णाय नमो नमः। ॐ नमः श्री भगवते रामकृष्णाय नमो नमः। ॐ नमः श्री भगवते रामकृष्णाय नमो नमः। शिवे सर्वार्थ साधिके शरणे त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणे नमोस्तुते। सृष्टि स्थिति विनाशानां शक्ति भूते सनातनी गुणाशये गुणमये नारायणे नमोस्तुते। शरणागत दीनार्त परित्राण परायणे सर्वस्यार्थे हरे देवी नारायणे नमोस्तुते जय नारायणे नमोस्तुते जय नारायणे नमोस्तुते नारायणे नमोस्तुते जय नारायणे नमोस्तुते जय महामाये की जय जय भगवान श्री रामकृष्ण देव की जय जय स्वामी जी महाराज जी की जय। प्रकृतिं परमां अभयां वरदां नररूप नरां जनतापहरां शरणागतसेवकतोषकरीं प्रणमामि परां जननीं जगतां गुणहीनसुताम् अपराधयुतां कृपयाद्यसमुद्धरमोहगतां तरणीं भवसागरपारकरीं प्रणमामि परां जननीं जगतां विषयं कुसुमं परिहृत्य सदा शरणाम्बुरुहा मृतशान्तिसुधा पिबभृङ्गमनो भवरोगहरा प्रणमामि परां जननीं जगतां कृपां कुरु महादेवी सुतेषु प्रणतेषु च शरणाशयदानेन कृपामयि नमोस्तुते लज्जापटावृते नित्यं शारदे ज्ञानदायिके पापेभ्यो नः सदा रक्ष कृपामयि नमोस्तुते रामकृष्णगतप्राणां तन्नाम श्रवणप्रिया तद्भावरञ्जिताकारां प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः पवित्रं चरितं यस्याः पवित्रं जीवनं तथा पवित्रता स्वरूपिण्यै तस्यै कुर्मो नमो नमः देवीं प्रसन्ना प्रणता त्रिहन्त्रीं योगीन्द्रपूजा योगधर्मपात्रीं तां शारदामविज्ञानदात्रीं दयास्वरूपा प्रणमामि नित्यं स्नेहेन बध्नासि मनोस्मदीयं दोषान् शेषान् सगुणे करोषि आहेतुनानो दयसे सदोषा स्वाङ्के गृहीत्वा यदिदं विचित्रं प्रसीद मातर् विनयेन याचे नित्यं भव स्नेहवती सुतेषु प्रेमैकविन्दुं शिरदग्धचित्ते वेशिं च चित्तं कुरु नः सुशान्तं जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः
Namah Shri Atirajaya Vivekananda Sure Satchit Sukhasvarupaya Swamine Tapaharine. So we were going through this lecture, Unity and Diversity, and in the previous discussion, we had talked about how we as human beings, particularly living in a society, are affected by these notions of good and bad. And essentially what really is the way out. Basically, because if we accept some particular aspect of our lives, events happening in our lives as good, it automatically implies that there is something which is conditioned by that and which is bad. And things like that which make us things which, by contrast, make us feel unhappy, or things which we really describe as bad. So, what is the way out? This was the issue that we had discussed last time. And so we start off there, and this is what Vivekananda says. That is what the Vedanta teaches. It does not propose any slipshod remedy by covering wounds with gold leaf, and the more the wound festers, putting on more gold leaf. This life is a hard fact. Work your way through it boldly, though it may be adamantine. No matter, the soul is stronger. It lays no responsibility on little gods, for you are the makers of your own fortunes. You make yourselves suffer, you make good and evil, and it is you who put your hands before your eyes and say, "It is dark." Take your hands away and see the light. You are effulgent, you are perfect already from the very beginning. We now understand the verse, "He goes from depth to depth, who sees the many here." See that one and be free. So essentially what is being talked about here is really, so there are conditions in life which make us feel unhappy, or which are things not to our favor. And usually we try to address these issues by adjusting things in the external world. And when we fail to do so, we usually either become morose and say that essentially everything has somehow or the other conspired against us, and become pessimists, or become negative about various things in the world and essentially blame others for our misfortunes. This is the weakest way out. What then is the solution? Does that mean that miseries will come our way and we will remain callous to them? That's not the solution. The solution really is to understand that this psychological reaction that we have to external situations, it is by our declaring the foundation for treating a situation as happy or unhappy is the fact that we have declared, basically without any reason, that such and such a situation is favorable to me, such and such a situation is unfavorable to me. In other words, it is we who decide what is good and what is bad for us at a purely subjective level. It is this conditioning that we have given to ourselves, this cluttered thinking that we have made a habit for ourselves, that basically says that this is a situation, if it arises, I am going to suffer. If this is a situation which, if it arises, I am going to enjoy. This is the meaning of the sentence. You make yourselves suffer. You make good and evil, and it is you who put your hands before your eyes and say, it is dark. It is precisely this subjective sense of responsibility that is being inculcated by this passage. We tend to somehow or the other put this responsibility of our feeling good or happy or unhappy in somebody else's pocket and try to declare that so and so, in general, the world around us is what is responsible for my feeling happy or unhappy at this moment. What is an instance? Okay, so we set ourselves certain goals. Somebody working in an office starts declaring that, look, if I am instrumental in getting my particular department such and such amount of profit, then that is good. Who declares it? Yeah, there are certain things which the surrounding setup is conducive to, promotes, but then finally, I set a goal for myself. It might be through this setup of an office in which I work with other colleagues, etc., etc. But then finally, I declare that, look, this is what I say is good for me. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't happen. And when it doesn't happen, then we feel unhappy. Why? Because, if something happening is something that I've declared to be good, then that same thing not happening is automatically bad. Who has decided it? Somebody from outside? Somebody held a gun to your head and said, look, you must declare such and such very private, personal thing to be good, or some things, or equally something very personal and private to be bad? No. It's we who have done it. And then we forget to take responsibility for that decision. If I have declared that something is good, then I automatically, as soon as I do that, I open myself to misery when that thing does not happen. If I declare something to be good, I equally declare its absence to be bad. If I declare that in the situation that such and such a thing happens, I will be happy, I declare immediately, simultaneously, that if the absence of that happens, then I will be unhappy. Nobody does it for me. This taking responsibility for one's mental conditions, this responsibility, this sense of responsibility for my personal joys and sorrows is what is being talked about here as the basic teaching of Vedanta. Not a slipshod remedy, not a superficial solution to the problem by saying that, oh yes, this thing that you're declaring that is good or bad is really something that is universal, it is something that is external, it is something that is objective. Assume that, then try to give all kinds of concocted solutions. Then when somebody dies, they say, no, this is actually good because so and so power sitting behind the clouds is doing this because he or she wants to benefit you. This kind of concocted solution is something that makes the mind further weaker. What does it prevent us from doing? Instead of keeping the mind focused on this something that is objective and saying that this thing that is outside is good or bad, it's actually what we should be doing is ask ourselves, what is it in this situation that I have declared to be good? What is it in this situation that I have declared to be bad? And then we see that yes, certain suggestions for values were certainly given by the external world, suggestions mind. not fiats, not something that is dictated. After taking that information in, after taking that input in, we have processed it and we have come out with a certain fiat for ourselves. Nobody else has done it for us. We have done this final processing and we have finally declared that this situation is what I will call good. This situation is what I will call bad. What does that mean? It really means that this is a situation I will call good for me. This is a situation I will call bad for me. Nothing absolute. Very subjective. And then the weak, if the mind is weak, it will not stay there and understand that, look, this is really a subjective notion. It is my personal notion of good and bad. Nothing particularly objectively true about it anymore. Once I have processed and given out this fiat for myself. These things evolve, but anyway, for the time being, let's look at this one particular situation where we have described something as good and something as bad. And then the opposite thing happens. Maybe the market crashes. Maybe some kind of natural disaster happens and the office breaks down. Maybe somebody who was supporting us one day wakes up and gets conditioned and is no longer supportive of us. All kinds of factors which are not in our control turn against us, so to speak. And we become miserable. What has happened? We who have declared that situations X, Y, Z are good for us are now faced with a situation where X is no longer there, Y is no longer there, Z is no longer there. Conditions which we had decided as preconditions for our happiness have gone, and hence we are miserable. But who decided that these are preconditions for my happiness? Did somebody from outside tell me that no, if you eat 5 rasagullas a day, then you will be happy? Nobody did that. I decided that for myself. And then one particular day, 5 goes down to 4, someday it goes down to 3, and we are unhappy. What has happened? Conditions that we had decided as something conducive to our own happiness, those conditions are missing, and because those conditions are missing, we become unhappy. So finally, whose responsibility is one's own happiness or unhappiness? Basically, it turns out that, okay, so it's essentially taking responsibility for that decision. That decision, deciding that 5 items of such and such enjoyment is what I will declare as good for me, that decision which I took is responsible for my misery today because those conditions are no longer met. Solution? It is precisely this analytic introspection which exposes the subjective cause for happiness or unhappiness. There is nothing objective, nothing of an object in it. Situations in the surroundings can be multifarious. How one responds to that situation is finally in one's hands. It does not mean that if you have a certain habit, it's going to change overnight. But the first thing is to recognize that this is a certain habit of my mind, and it is what is responsible for my joys and sorrows. Once we have recognized the problem as not lying somewhere outside, but as something that lies in my psyche, what has happened? I have caught hold of the root of the problem, and it has become something that is in my hand. Instead of saying that, oh, I am driven around by these factors around me, I have finally boiled it down to a certain simple thing that, oh, this is a decision that I had taken as a precondition for my happiness. Any reason why I would have to take that decision? No. But it has been taken for better or worse. And then we start investigating that subjective cause further and start understanding it better. Once we start understanding that cause better, then we realize, oh, it means that if I can recondition or make my mind less conditioned, what will happen? These phenomena that bring sorrow my way, they will no longer be able to make me unhappy. The same situation might arise again and again and again. But the subjective reaction is in our hands. And that's why, because what has happened is that one has, through analytic introspection, gone to the root of these causes within oneself. And then caught hold of that cause and attenuated it, made it less powerful, given it less power to make oneself happy or unhappy, which means this unconditioned state of equanimity or peace is something that has become more and more of one's own thing. It has become a part and parcel of one's being. Actually, it does not have to be made part and parcel of one's being. It already is. This is the whole point of this Vedantic discussion. That finally, that equanimity, that peace, that unconditioned joy is what one really is. One does not have to find it from somewhere else. What does one need to do? One investigates and through introspection finds that one has superimposed things on top of that. One has put certain conditions, not from outside, but from within, created conditions saying that, oh, this, I don't know about this unconditioned joy. I have decided that it is only in such and such a condition that I will feel joyful. In the absence of such and such conditions, I will feel joyless, miserable. What then is the solution? Excavate through this analytic introspection these causes lying hidden in one's own psyche. We are past masters, real experts at fooling ourselves. People who actually have gone through these paths have developed this capacity for sharp introspection, sharp analysis, subjectively, not something outside, but into oneself. When they see others going through it, they understand that, look, this is a person, he or she has decided that, look, this is a condition for their happiness, unhappiness, and so these conditions are not being met, so they are feeling unhappy. It's a kind of a simple thing because finally it's not something that is rocket science. It's something that is very general and it's a universal subjective phenomenon. Which is why we find people who are naturally cheerful and some people who are naturally miserable. Why? A naturally miserable person is somebody who has imposed on himself or herself zillions of conditions to say that, okay, these are conditions which need to be met for me to be happy. And person who is naturally cheerful has imposed a much smaller number of those conditions. Yeah? So it takes a lot more to make the second person unhappy or cheerless. What can we do? First, investigate our own psyche to decide for ourselves what are these conditions that we have imposed on ourselves as preconditions for joy or sorrow. So it's not essentially, so what we are trying to say here is that these conditions are nothing that are God-given, or these conditions are nothing that are essentially written in stone. What is necessary is to understand that these conditions are not fundamental. They are not basic things, even though, and our silliest act is to somehow or the other declare our habit to be something that is just something that is a habit of ours, a habit of thinking, a habit of thought. We suddenly decide that no, this habit of thought that we have is absolute. It is not something that is changeable. This is an act of utter silliness. Even if we recognize that, the actual action starts after we have recognized that no, this is the condition that we have imposed on ourselves. We have decided that no, unless I have had 5 rasagullas in one day, my day is in vain. Who has decided? I have decided. And then we somehow or the other introspect and find out, okay, this is the cause for our misery. Once we have identified that, then we start deconditioning the mind subsequently, removing it one by one, slowly. And that is either through this kind of analysis, also called viveka. Yeah. And this act of having decided without any reason is exactly the opposite of analytic self-inquiry. This analytic self-inquiry is exactly what is called viveka. And that's why viveka ananda. Absence of it is, of course, the negation of that is aviveka. What Shankara calls moha. Yeah? Moha means basically this unreasoned sorrow. Yeah? Unreasoned. It is not through some rational inquiry. It means that some kind of a force of habit has been taken as sacrosanct, and the mind does not have the strength to introspect with this analytical power. Why? Basically, what one is having, this process is called the process of self-inquiry. I am feeling miserable, okay, or I am feeling extremely joyful at this situation. Both are not very happy situations. Why? Because if I am feeling extremely joyful on one particular occasion with certain thing happening, its absence is going to make me feel miserable the next moment. So it is an opportunity when the mind is cheerful to make it introspect and to understand what are the conditions I have imposed on myself to decide that under such and such a condition I will say that something is good, under such and such a condition I will say something is bad. Through that introspection, certain preconditions are obtained. Once we have identified, excavated, and exposed them to the light of our consciousness, what has happened is that they have now swum into focus. They are no longer hidden away from sight. They cannot fool us. And we who had successfully fooled ourselves by keeping those preconditions buried in our subconscious are no longer willing to fool ourselves. We have pointed that light into our psyche, excavating those reasons, bringing them to the conscious mind. Once they are at that conscious level, what do we gain? We then understand that, okay, this condition of having 5 pieces of something such a day as a precondition for a joy is something that was totally arbitrary. There was no reason no real fundamental reason for me to declare that these are the conditions for my joy. Which means this condition that I was so long being driven around by is no longer anything absolute. And hence, it can be removed from my mind as a condition for joy. What then? Once all these conditions are removed, once all these self-imposed preconditions are removed, what remains is the unconditional joy of the mind, which does not require a cause to bring it about. And the better, the deeper the taste we have of that, we slowly begin to understand that, oh, I need to do nothing particular. Doing nothing does not mean that I don't work and don't eat and don't do this and that. It means that I do not have to consciously act in a particular way, either avoid or seek. Yeah? Not doing is also something that we are agents of. Yeah? So that's why in this Bhagavad Gita, that the second line we keep forgetting, Mate Sangha Astu Akarmani. May you not be attached to akarma, to the not doing of work. So it's essentially this deconditioning of the mind is exactly what is called detachment or unattachment. This first thing, this moha or this preconditioning, this deciding that, look, such and such conditions of the mind are the reason why I am going to be miserable. This collection of factors which we have declared in our own hearts, this collection of conditions is something that is my doing, and therefore I have acted consciously in order to make those a precondition for my joy. Which means, what is the answer? I no longer have to act in order to catch hold of those conditions, A. B, I no longer have to act consciously in order to avoid those conditions. Sitting down idly would be a situation where I would be avoiding such situations from arising in my life, perhaps. But I don't need to sit down idly just to avoid these things. Why? One can go around one's business and solve the problem with greater wisdom. And that greater wisdom does not lie in acting in any particular external way or avoiding action in any particular external way. The solution is to keep this inner alertness, this inner light, the sharpness of discrimination, the sword of discrimination, alive and ticking. It's that alertness which removes, which exposes these preconditions in our mind and show them to us as, look, these are the conditions you yourself have imposed on yourself. Nobody else is responsible. Nobody else needs to be punished for these miseries in my mind. What do I need to do? I need to remove these conditions from my own heart and mind. And the more successfully I do it, the more one's life becomes something in which the mind is in this perennial state of joy and equanimity. We are coming to the close of the time allocated today. I'll just share with you an anecdote about our present President Maharaj, Swami Gautamahanji. So we had joined this organization in Madras Mutt, where he was the head. And man is 96 today, but I have never seen him in any state other than this perennially joyful state, cheerful state. So one of my colleagues, one of the people who had joined the organization around the same time as me, he actually once asked him, Maharaj, how come you are so happy, so cheerful all the time? And his answer was rather simple. He said, you see, as a young person, I found that you could do one of two things. You could think of all the problematic and difficult things of the world and feel serious or at times miserable. Or You could think of all the joyful and happy things of the world and be happy. Choice. Yeah? And then finally he says, I decided to do the second. Stated very simply, but it's I decided to do the second. It's a subjective decision that that person has taken. Consciously, unconsciously, that decision has taken. In other words, this discriminatory faculty is instinctively working there. It has made a choice. You and each of us has that choice to make at every moment of our lives. We can take up some particular situation and keep on outraging about it without doing anything about it. Most of the time, this kind of comfortable outraging is essentially a way of placating a hurting conscience. Why? Basically because we are not being able to do anything about it. And so we feel that, oh, we should make noise about it. That's all. Nothing effective, just some noise. And then there should be this, if one is a little honest, one should actually inquire that, look, all this outraging that I am doing, is it just to feel good about myself, or is there something real about it? If there's something real about it, it should be reflected in my action. If it is not reflected in my action, but in just some kind of moralizing, virtue signaling, then there is something fake about it. Something not quite honest, something a little dishonest about it. If, on the other hand, one is really concerned about an issue, one goes about and acts on it. That's all. And here, the subjective action is very simple. Decide on conditions that will enable the mind to feel cheerful. Does not mean that situations will come which will not be adverse. But even if there are adverse situations, most of the time, when a situation comes one's way, there is this inner faculty of freedom that is still alive in us, which allows us the strength and to decide how much am I going to allow it to affect me. Suppose somebody is going through physical illness. Is it going to be possible to avoid feeling miserable about it altogether? No. But we have a choice. What is the extent of choice that we have? Okay, so suppose one is unwell. One can start thinking about that lack of wellness or illness in a certain way. So yes, this is a condition of the body which has come. It is there for some time, it will go. What has happened? One has accepted that misery of the body as part and parcel of life, and paradoxically, the misery has been alleviated. Or, oh, this is a terrible thing that has happened to me, so and so did such and such a thing, so I am feeling unwell. What has happened? One's mind has gotten into some kind of it has fallen into a rut. And that condition of unhappiness is something that we are going on emphasizing further, making ourselves more miserable. So even in a simple life situation, this choice that I said this Gautamaji made once long ago is something that we are making. Consciously or unconsciously, we are making that choice at every instant. And it is up to us to make the choice which will keep our mental condition healthy and hence capable of responding to a situation which others might regard as adverse, but we will no longer regard it as adverse. So it means strength in the face of adversity is exactly what this is about. And it is precisely this faculty that develops into this indispensable quality of mind called courage. So this faculty of discrimination, analytical thinking, and this faculty of heart called courage, they are obverse and reverse of the same faculty. So before finishing off, let me read that one paragraph once again so that it sticks with us. That is what the Vedanta teaches. It does not propose any slipshod remedy by covering wounds with gold leaf, and the more the wound festers, putting on more gold leaf. This life is a hard fact. Work your way through it boldly, though it may be adamantine. No matter, the soul is stronger. It lays no responsibility on little gods, for you are the makers of your own fortunes. You make yourselves suffer, you make good and evil, and it is you who put your hands before your eyes and say, "It is dark." Take your hands away and see the light. You are effulgent, you are perfect already from the very beginning. We now understand the verse, and the original is from the Kathopanishad, Mrityo samrityumapnoti ya iha nana iva pashyati. He goes from death to death who sees the many here. See that one and be free. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.